Hello, and welcome to this back to school orientation for Irvington Preparatory Academy for the 2020-2021 school year. Thank you for joining us, and we are excited to share some new information with you about the coming year. During this orientation, we will cover some more information about our hybrid model of learning, our safety plan, what's new, and the Irvington way. As you know, we will be following a hybrid model of learning this year. Each student has been assigned to either cohort 1 or cohort 2. You should have received an email on Tuesday, July 14th that let you know what cohort your student was in. If you did not receive that email, please reach out to us as soon as possible so that we can get you that important information. This shows you the schedule of when each cohort will be in school for their in-person learning days, as well as when they are at home for their e-learning days. Students who are in cohort 1 will come to school for their in-person learning on Monday and Thursday each week, and will have e-learning on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Students who are in cohort 2 will have in-person learning on Tuesday and Friday, and will do e-learning on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We know that it's going to take us all a little bit of time to get used to this rotation, and we will be working together over the course of the first several days to make sure that we're all understanding what we need to do. Students will be given a mapped out schedule of what they need to do each day for the first several weeks so that they can follow along and not feel like they aren't sure what they need to do next. This is our bell schedule for this year during our hybrid learning. As you can see, on Monday and Thursday, cohort 1 will be in the building, and they will have on Monday periods 1, 2, 3, and 4, along with their advisory. On Tuesday, cohort 2 will come into the building, and they will follow the same schedule that cohort 1 just followed on Monday with periods 1, 2, 3, and 4. On Wednesdays, we will all be at home doing e-learning. And then on Thursdays, cohort 1 will come back to school, have periods 5, 6, 7, and 8, as well as advisory. And on Fridays, cohort 2 will follow that same schedule, periods 5, 6, 7, and 8, along with advisory. You may notice that each student will only see each class, periods 1 through 8, one time per week. So it's very important that as long as they are healthy, students are at school, because missing even one day of school will be missing their only in-person instruction for that class that week. So what will the first day look like? We know that this is kind of an anxious time for students, especially those who are new to high school or maybe new to IPA, even if they've been in high school before. Right now, all students have is their advisory teacher's name and that classroom. We are working on schedules, and we'll have those ready on the first day, as well as locker assignments and combinations. So when students come to school on their first day for cohort 1, that will be Monday, July 27th. For cohort 2, that will be Tuesday, July 28th. When they come into the building, we're going to ask them to go directly to their advisor's classroom. They will not go to their locker because they don't know their locker number yet. They'll go directly to their advisor's classroom. We will have all of our teachers and administrative staff, everyone in the hallways with all hands on deck to make sure students know how to get to those advisory classrooms. So we will have plenty of people available to help them find the way to the right room. Once they get to their advisor will give them lots of great information throughout the day. We will stay in advisory for the whole day, the first day of school, because there's a lot of new information we need to cover. So students will get to know other students in their advisory as well as their advisor. We'll do some team building activities that we can do while socially distanced. And students will also be able to go through the student handbook with their advisors on that day. Perhaps most importantly, and what students are most anxious about, is that they will have an opportunity of a scheduled time when their class is the only one in the hallway to go find their locker and kind of get moved into their locker, make sure they know their combination and can operate the locker okay. And they will also have the opportunity to walk their schedule. So they'll be able to walk to each of the classrooms that they will have on their second day of school when they come to in-person classes. So it's going to be a very busy day full of lots of information, but a lot of information that will help students feel more comfortable with this new model and be able to have success. So what can you expect on the days when your student is at home doing e-learning? Each day, we're going to ask that they log into Google Classroom for the 4 classes they are assigned on that particular day. And again, we will give them a schedule for the first several weeks so they know which classes they need to visit each day. On Wednesdays, we will all visit all 8 classes virtually on Google Classroom. When they get on Google Classroom, they will find an attendance assignment for the day. This is typically just a short question to check in or maybe a quick review question about something they have just recently learned. As much as possible, we would like students to complete that attendance assignment by 3:30 in the afternoon each day. Now, we understand that for some families that may not be possible. We know that with work schedules, sometimes students won't be able to get to their e-learning until after 3:30, and that is okay. But as much as they can, if they can at least get that attendance assignment question done by 3:30, that helps us tremendously. Our teachers will have time at the end of each day to catch up on that attendance for their e-learning students. And so the more that we can have students completing by 3:30, the better our records are going to be and the easier it will be on both students and teachers. If a student completes their attendance assignment question after 3:30, we will adjust their attendance accordingly. Once they have completed all of their attendance assignment questions for each class, then we would ask them to go ahead and look at any other assignments that may be posted for that day and complete those based on the due date that is posted with the assignment. One word that I want to make sure I share here, excuse me, is that it's very important that students only log into their own account on their Chromebook and only complete their own assignments. It is very easy for a teacher to tell if a student has done work for someone else or has pulled work off the internet and called it their own. We take plagiarism very seriously at IPA, so please encourage your student and monitor what they are doing so that that doesn't happen. Students who are caught plagiarizing will receive a 0 for that assignment, and depending on the assignment, may or may not be able to retake that assignment with their own work to try and earn that credit back. One thing that we learned through e-learning in the spring is the key to being successful is communication. So please, anytime you have a question or a concern or something isn't working right, please make sure you reach out to us so that we can problem solve with you and get that fixed. Your first person you're going to want to email will be the teacher of whichever class you have a question about. We are also developing an email that will go directly to an e-learning help desk that your student can email as well. Please keep in mind that teachers are teaching in-person lessons on the days that your student is at home doing e-learning. They will be checking emails and attendance from 3:45 to 4:45 at the end of the day. If you email a teacher at 10 a.m., please remember they likely will not see that email and return it until 3:45. Again, they will have other teaching responsibilities to take care of during the day for the students who are in person learning that day. But I cannot stress enough how important communication is. If you're having a problem and you don't let us know, then we can't help you fix it. But that is what we want to do most of all is make sure that we are getting problems solved and you and your student are finding success. So please, please, please make sure you reach out with questions. There are several things that parents can do to help their child be successful with e-learning. One is to make sure you're communicating with them about their assignments. We know that often with e-learning, parents may be at work while their child is doing their homework, or just busy with other things in the home, and not necessarily able to sit down with them while they're doing e-learning, which is completely understandable. But the more you can communicate with your child about what they have done that day, what assignments they have due, what they've accomplished, what they may still be working on, the more you're going to be able to help them find success and to know when there is a problem that needs to be communicated. We would ask that you also help your child by modeling good communication skills and email skills when there are questions or problems that arise, guiding them with how to get those questions answered the most successfully that they can. I do want to just talk briefly about a discrepancy that we have learned about between PowerSchool and Google Classroom. If you are checking on your students' assignments to see where they are at, if they have missing assignments, your most reliable source is going to be PowerSchool. On Google Classroom, a student can turn in an assignment that isn't complete, and Google Classroom will tell you that it is turned in because that is an automated system. It just knows that the student turned something in. It doesn't know if that assignment was actually completed. However, sometimes if a student turns in something that isn't complete, the teacher may then, when they're grading, mark it as missing until the student completes the assignment. So always check PowerSchool and rely on that information more than Google Classroom. Again, though, if you have any questions, you see a discrepancy that doesn't make sense, please make sure you reach out to that teacher or to an administrator so that we can help problem solve and see where the discrepancy lies. Finally, if you can make sure that your student charges their Chromebook each night so that they have a full charge when they come to school on their in-person learning days, that will be very helpful. We don't always have enough outlets in a classroom for students who need to charge Chromebooks, or they may not sit close enough to an outlet that their cord doesn't reach. And we know that having that Chromebook charged and ready to go is a key to being successful. So if you can make sure they just plug it in at night when they go to bed, it will be charged and ready to go for the next day. Let's talk a little bit about our safety plan for this semester and this coming year. One of the key things that will be doing that is different and is going to be a learning curve for all of us is that everyone, staff and students alike, will be required to wear a mask when they enter the building. Please make sure that your student puts their mask on as they exit your vehicle before they come inside the building. They shouldn't be walking through the building without a mask on. It needs to be on before they enter the building. Students will be able to have a break from wearing their mask when they are eating breakfast or lunch, or if they have a class outside where they are able to be socially distanced. Masks will not be worn in PE class during physical activity. Please make sure that if your child has a cloth reusable mask that you launder it frequently. Some guidelines say you should launder cloth reusable masks every day. So the more that you're able to throw those in the washer and make sure they're clean, the safer that's going to be for you and your student. If your student uses a disposable mask, we would ask that you change that frequently as well with a fresh, clean mask. Face masks must seal around the nose and the mouth, so bandanas will not be appropriate or acceptable for school use. If your student has a mask that has print or a graphic on it, that is fine, but please make sure it is school appropriate. Any pictures or words on the mask must be appropriate for school. Arrival and dismissal will be fairly similar to what we have done in the past with a few added safety measures for social distancing. Our gym doors will open at 7:30 a.m. for students who need to be dropped off early. We would ask that unless you just absolutely have to have your child there early, that you wait until 8:15 to drop them off. Of course, if you need to get to work or you have other things going on and you need to drop them off early, that service is there for you. When students arrive early, they may wait in the gym or the cafeteria until 8:15 when the bell rings. Please know that students will need to have their mask on during that time and they will be socially distanced. We will have tables set up, one student to a table. They will not be able to be up walking around except to go get their breakfast from the cafeteria if they are choosing to eat breakfast at school. So again, that's another reason why it's important if they don't need to be there early that you wait until 8:15 to bring them. At 8:15, the doors will open for everyone to come into the building from the gym and the cafeteria, or if they're just getting dropped off, then at that time they can come directly into the building. From 8:15 to 8:30, students will be able to visit their locker and prepare for their day. We will still be asking that while they are in the hallway, they have their masks on, they are social distancing, not touching, all of those things that we are learning in this new age that we need to do. So even when in the hallways during passing periods and in the morning, we will be asking them to social distance. Dismissal is at 3:45 for all students. This again is a little bit of a change. We will not have two dismissals this year, just one at 3:45. All students will leave the building at that time. On some occasions, a student may have a scheduled time of tutoring or extra practice with a teacher. Or if there's a club that's able to meet with social distancing, they might have a club meeting at 3:45 and stay extra. You will receive an email from the teacher that they are staying with if that is the case. If you have not received an email from a teacher saying that your student should stay past 3:45, then you should expect for them to be dismissed at 3:45. Locker visits are going to be quite different this year for our students. We will not be going to lockers on every passing period. Again, this is to maintain social distance and to encourage students to just get from one class to the other with as little contact with other people as possible. So students will only visit their locker in the morning when they come into the building. They will be able to visit their locker again at the end of the day when they leave. If your student packs their lunch and needs to go to their locker before their lunch period to get their lunchbox, they will be able to do that as well. We know that this is going to be a challenge and a change for our students, and to help ease that transition, we will be providing students each with a plastic clear tote bag that they can carry binders and notebooks and pens and pencils in if they need to. We do ask that they keep those plastic tote bags at school in their lockers rather than carrying them back and forth from home to school, so that they last longer and can make it through the whole semester before it kind of starts to break down. With the bathrooms, we will be limiting bathroom passes as much as we can and within reason. There will only be 2 students in each restroom at a time. Um, that will be monitored during passing periods, as well as if a student has a pass out of class. So they will be able to use the restroom when they need to, but we will limit that to passing periods as much as possible. Finally, we would ask, because of these limited breaks and not being able to go to their lockers as frequently, that each student would bring a clear plastic bottle with water in it, only water, no energy drinks or Kool-Aid or those kinds of things, please. And they can carry that with them to class so that if they need a drink, they are available. The water fountains will not be available for drinks, so they will need to bring a water bottle. We will encourage students to wash their hands frequently. As well, there will be hand sanitizer stations in each classroom as well as in the hallways. And we will permit students to carry a small travel size hand sanitizer with them if they prefer to do that. We do ask that they not share that hand sanitizer with others, and that you make sure it is the small travel size, similar to what you would be allowed to take on an airplane, not a full size regular bottle of sanitizer, but the smaller sizes they may carry with them. Students will eat lunch this year in their advisory classroom. So after their second period of the day, they will go to their locker if they need to get their lunchbox, or go directly to advisory and take their seats there. If they are ordering a school lunch, our school lunch provider, service provider, will deliver their lunch to their classroom and pick up any remaining trays or trash or those kinds of things at the end of the lunch period. Students who are packing their lunch, this is very important, cannot use the microwaves. So please make sure, if your student is packing their lunch, that what they pack does not need to be heated up or cooked in a microwave. Microwaves will not be available during lunch because students are eating in classrooms. So please, again, I can't stress this enough. Please make sure that what they bring for lunch does not need a microwave. There are many things that you can do as a family to make sure that your student stays healthy and help us keep everyone in our community healthy as well. Please make sure that you are monitoring your student's temperature daily. Keep your student home if they show any signs of illness, particularly if they have a fever or cough or a sore throat, those kinds of things. While we know that attendance is important and we want kids to be at school as much as possible, we only want them to be at school if they are healthy. Please keep your child home if they are ill. If a student becomes ill while they are at school, they must see the school nurse before being sent home. So all students will be sent to the nurse if they are ill or feeling ill. If your student would contact you directly because they aren't feeling well at school, please advise them to go to the school nurse, and the nurse will call you to come and pick them up. If your student is sent home and has a fever or other symptoms, they need to be symptom-free for 72 hours without the aid of Tylenol or ibuprofen or those kinds of medicines for 72 hours again before they return to school. We would also ask that you, as a family, make sure you are maintaining your social distancing practices at home when you're not at school, again, to help keep everyone in our community safe and healthy. So there are several things that are new this year that we are very excited about. One of those is that we are slightly changing our dress code this year to hopefully, again, be a financial, alleviate some financial burdens for our families. So for those of you who are returning, you may recall that in the past you had to wear polos with a school logo on them as part of the uniform. This year, we are not requiring the school logo. So any black, plain black polo or a polo with a school logo, if you already have those, will be appropriate for school. It does still need to be a polo with the collar, but it can be plain black with no logo. The same is true for crew neck sweatshirts and fleece jackets. If you have a plain black crew neck sweatshirt you'd like to wear or a plain black jacket that you would like to wear, you may do that as well. Again, no hoodies still, no stripes or other colors on the jackets or sweatshirts, but plain black will be acceptable. We'll continue to wear khaki bottoms. You may wear long pants or shorts or a skirt as part of the dress code. We do ask that you wear closed-toed shoes and closed-heeled shoes. And then once we have Life Touch able to come in, we will have IDs available. Those will not be available on the first day, and we understand that. And we will send information home once we have a confirmed date that Life Touch is coming in to take those pictures. One thing that we always love at IPA is on Fridays we have Spirit Wear Day, and students can wear IPA Spirit Wear with their school uniform bottoms. Because not every student is in school on Fridays this year, we will have a Spirit Wear Day on both Thursday and Friday. So if I'm in cohort 1 as a student, I can wear my Spirit Wear on Thursday, and if I'm in cohort 2, I will wear Spirit Wear on Friday. So everyone will still get a Spirit Wear Day to wear their Spirit Wear with their khaki uniform bottoms. Another item that is new that we are excited about and hope to alleviate financial burden for our families is that there are no textbook or technology fees this year. So you will not be asked to pay a book rental fee or a technology fee this year. Those have been waived for the 2020-2021 school year. Additionally, we are providing EduKit school supplies for each student. So on the first day of school, each student will get their own supply kit. It will have everything those essential things they need to be successful at school. We do ask that students not share those supplies once they have them. Again, this is a way for us to make sure each student has their own safe, clean supplies that they may use. We will pass those out in advisory on the first day along with Chromebooks. So you shouldn't need to buy any school supplies as well this year. They will all be provided. We have also hired an ICS social worker for family supports for this year. So if your family is in need of any kind of support, especially as it relates to the pandemic, please make sure you reach out and let us help you get you in touch with resources or other things that you might need assistance with. Mrs. Goddard is our new social worker, and I know that she is excited to get started and to get to know our families and to meet you. So be watching for more information from her about services she will be offering. Finally, we will be sending meals home for e-learning school days for those students who are in need of that service. So if I am in cohort 1 and I'm in person at school on Monday, when I leave school at the end of the day, I will pick up my lunches and breakfasts for Tuesday and Wednesday when I am home at e-learning. Then I will be back at school on Thursday, and at the end of the day, we'll pick up my breakfast and lunch for Friday's e-learning day. The same will be true for cohort 2, just on the opposite days. So again, we hope that all of these things make things a little bit easier on our families. We know this is a difficult time for many people in our community, and we hope that this allows you to relax a little bit about some of the stresses in your life and make school more successful. Finally, I just want to give a brief reminder of the Irvington Way, and for those of you that are new to our community, to introduce you to the Irvington Way. Each day we say the Irvington Way at school, and these are the 5 tenets that guide everything we do at Irvington Preparatory Academy and at Irvington Community Schools across all 3 campuses. Each day we ask each other, both students and staff, to be respectful, responsible, safe, involved, and focused. On the first day of school, your student will receive a student handbook they will go over that with their teacher and bring it home, and we will ask that you as a parent also look through the student handbook. Additionally, we will send a link to you so you have an electronic copy that you can access at any time of that student handbook. The handbook outlines how we want people to live out this Irvington way in our community. How do we go about being respectful, responsible, safe, involved, and focused together? Some of the key parts of that for us at Irvington Preparatory Academy are our restorative practices, which we will continue to do. If there is ever a discipline or behavior incident that we need to discuss with students or families, we will do that from a restorative standpoint. Our goal is to keep kids in class and in school so that they can continue their learning as much as possible. We will have, for those of you who are returning and are familiar with our point system, that will be slightly modified for our hybrid model. So make sure you check that out in the handbook. As well as we will not have ISS for safety reasons. So there will be some different consequences for points accumulation. Again, please make sure you check that out in the handbook. And if you have any questions, make sure you reach out to myself or Mr. Yulman, our assistant principal, or Mr. Ballard, our dean. We are so looking forward to this year and to growing and learning together and learning how to live the Irvington way together again this year. Thank you for joining us. Again, please make sure, as I've said 100 times probably already, the key to us all being successful, whether we're doing e-learning or hybrid learning or we're in school together someday again, is communication. We want to help you. We want to make sure that you and your student are successful. And the best way to do that is to ask questions and problem solve together. So thank you for your time this evening. Make sure that you reach out. You can see our contact information here if you need to reach one of us. Also note that we have orientation office hours in the coming days. On Friday, July 17th, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday, July 20th, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Tuesday, July 21st, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. During those hours, you may come in to pick up registration paperwork if you have items you have not yet completed, or if you have paperwork at home that you just need to turn in, you may bring that as well. We will not be passing out packets or Chromebooks during that time at IPA. Those items will be distributed to your student on the first day of school. We are so excited again about this year. Welcome to IPA or welcome back to IPA. We will see you soon.